Greetings, Glitter Gang, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and today we're going to be doing some 12 by 12 layouts. And the main reason we're doing 12 by 12 layouts is because if you've been around for a while, you know I have like a shoulder problem, and it's actually quite bad today. So I decided instead of canceling, I would just take a heavier duty painkiller, which we haven't had a show where I've been on. Something like more potent than ibuprofen. So we'll see how that goes. But just in case it went really poorly, I decided I'm not going to try and teach anything really today. So we're just going to make some layouts. Because I don't want to try and teach the album basics guy, to be honest. I just don't think I can handle it. But I did pull some things. So let's see what we can do. So I thought, what if we did a 12 by 12 layouts, or a 24 by 12 layout actually is what we're going to be doing out of a 6 by 6 pad. And so what we're going to do is because I picked this pad from Penny Black. This is one of the things I found while I was cleaning. So I'm going to do 12 by 24 or 24 by 12 actually. And this is the graphite cardstock. And then I also have white cardstock for photo mats, and I also pulled, and I don't know if it's going to be hard to see, but this is a textured wood grain, but I think it's just a little too, my lights are still, oh, there we go. There, you can see it just a little bit. You can see that it's a wood grain up there in the right corner. So maybe we'll do something with that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put together a layout. Now, normally, well, I'll wait a second on that. Okay, so, well, all right, so we've got our 12 by 24 here. I'm going to do just a little sketch of what I want. So, I think what I want to do, I think it's going to be pretty basic. And it's all going to hinge, yes, it's the Gemund. It's a German embossed wood grain. All right, so here's our 12 by 24 layout. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a 6-inch band of quilted pattern paper strips going across, not quite the bottom, so it's not going to divide it like quite in half. And then over here we're going to have a strip of 4 by 6 photos, and then here I'm going to go ahead and put like a 5 by 7. And then in this area here and here I want to do like a hexagon die pattern with the pattern paper. So I think, so we'll do, this will be a 5 by 7. These will be 6 by 4s. We'll just do 3 of them. And then this will be 6-inch paper strips. So we'll use white for photo mats. And the first thing I have to do is I have to find my hexagon dies, and I was looking for those when the show started. So I have the Spellbinders dies, but while I found all my dies are not all organized right now. So we're gonna look for this little last bin to go through for dies. All right, Spellbinders, circles, scallop circles, pinking circles, square swatches like a quilt. We can maybe use those if I can't. Here they are. Okay. Never mind. I found them. All right. So we have our hexagons. So we're going to use this to make a pattern. All right. So let's see. How do I want to start this? I'm going to start this by pulling a sheet of each pattern out of here. How is everyone doing? I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We had a very, I think part of the reason my shoulder is hurting is because my sister and I had a bit of a whirlwind trip down to Tampa. We had a couple reasons. A friend of ours is starting chemo and radiation soon, so we wanted to see her before that to offer our support, just hang out and chit chat a little bit, you know. And then that was just a lot of driving, you know, because 8 hours down, 8 hours back, and then we were running around the whole time pretty much. No real downtime at all. So that was that. But yeah, that was just very exhausting. And all the driving is, I think, what irritated my shoulder. But it's not even a shoulder. Well, it's partially my shoulder, but it's also, I can tell it's partially my neck. And the way that I know it's my neck is involved is it hurts here. Like it hurts down my arm down to here, you know? And I always associate that kind of like radiating pain with the neck and the back. They're usually the culprits. And last night my hand went numb for a little while, and I was like, oh, that's the neck. Thanks, neck. So anyway, all right, now we are gonna do, this is a baby layout. So let's pick 6 patterns for our hexagons. So we'll do the patterns that I think I do want on the left, and patterns that I think I don't want will go on the right. And if we end up with more patterns on the right than we need, then we'll just edit it down. Or the patterns I want are on the left. Patterns I don't want are on the right. These are for the hexagons. I'll use these other ones later. All right, so we need to edit down these. We want to end up with 5 or 6 of them. So these two are pretty similar. I don't think I need both of them, so I'll drop one of them. And I think there's these two, it's not quite the same because this one, the color is so different. But color-wise, these two are very similar, so I may set this one over here. All right, so then we have chevrons. And of the chevrons, I think I'll take this one over this one. And we have this gray one. And I think over the gray, I'd rather have the gray in a polka dot if I was going to take the gray at all. But I think these 5 might be just enough. But I'll go ahead and I'll pull the pink polka dot. Okay. All right, so now those are the 5 that we're going to make hexagons out of. So now let's pick another 5 that we're going to make our paper border out of. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say ones that I'm like, yes, I definitely want that in my paper border. Those are going to go on the left, and ones that I'm not quite sure about will go on the right. All right, so, okay, so now I want to pick, you know, like 4, 5, 6 from here. Definitely want to go ahead and go with that hexagon over this hexagon. I think, so I think those are the 6. All right. All right. So, looking good. Looking good. All right. So here's our 6 paper strips, and here's our 6 hexagons. And I see Gretchen is here, so we have a little show and tell. I got a package yesterday from Gretchen with a little decor for the office. So this is a little cat quilt, and it has a little hanging bar in the back, so we can hang it on the hooks on the mug rail, and it can decorate our coffee bar. That was what I was thinking. And just because I'm a bad person, the cat that was standing next to me when I opened it was Marcel. So I held it out to him like this, and I said, look, it's you. So, so that's what it was. So thank you, Gretchen, for the little flag pennant. We've been calling it a pennant, but this is the office mascot pennant is what it's going to be. So it's going to hang in the office. Probably we're going to put it on the rail, the coffee rail, and it'll decorate the coffee bar area. But if that doesn't work out, we'll find some other spot for it in the office. So, but it's very cute. It's pretty on both sides as well. You know, when you're working on stuff. Ooh, I'm not maintaining enough video. What's going on? Oh yes, we're dropping frames. How are you guys doing? Are you guys doing okay? It looks like we stopped dropping frames, but we did drop quite a few frames. We had definitely a dip. Definitely had a dip. But thank you, Gretchen, for the beautiful work. The all the cats love it except Marcel. No, I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, it's very, very cute. It was such a surprise. So thank you so much. All right, so I'm just going to grab some white paper. And I am going to cut a 6 1/4 inch strip, and I need to cut a 6 1/4 inch strip from 2 sheets because it is a 12 by 24 inch layout. So I need 2 sheets of the white paper. So this 6 1/4 inch strip is going to be what we stick the pattern paper to. And then the 5 3/4 inch strip that's left is what we're going to use to line everything up. You'll see what I mean in a second, I think. I hope. All right, now I'm going to get, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 5-inch pieces. So I cut the paper so that I have a 6 1/4 inch piece and a 5 3/4 inch piece. And it's to these pieces that we're going to attach these pieces. So these are going to stick over the edge a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to set those aside just briefly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these, and I'm not going to cut them all the same. So I'm going to cut some 2 inches, some 1 inch, some 1 1/2 inches. And then we'll quilt these. So thank you so much, Gretchen. That's such a cute little cat pennant to celebrate the little monsters. Kitty has been, anytime I go in the garage since we got back from our trip, she just howls. So, and I call it the garage because it's where a garage would be in a house. It's the office. I don't know why I can't kind of consistently get that, but oh well. So she's been extra, like, if she just sees me put on my shoes, she gets upset because she thinks I'm going outside her control. And then I'll do a close-up of my nails in a second because I do have my first manicure of the year of the new house. So I did a summer watermelon manicure. So I have watermelons on the 2 accent nails. So I went with the watermelon, and I did go with the pink and the blue, and I think that was the right answer. So all right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take tape. I'm just gonna run a line of 1/4 inch tape across the top, bottom, and middle of these. So and my sister left and she went upstairs because she has to make a phone call, but so she can't show you her nails, but I did do the cutest nails for her. I think I'm gonna make myself a set like these. They're just yellow, just like a nice butter yellow, you know. But on the thumbs, we put goofy happy faces. Kind of like the don't worry, be happy face. And they're so cute because they're just kind of a sunshiny, fun color, just bright and happy. But then those little smiley faces, when you see them, they make you want to laugh. So I might do a set like that. We'll see. And while we were gone, Mr. Lifeguard got the new AC installed in the office, so it should be quieter because we don't have to have the fan on anymore. So the office has its new AC, so that's all good. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel this tape. And we're just going to start sticking the strips down. And we may run out of strips, you know, before we finish both of these, in which case, you know, we'll just cut more, because that's why I have the stack there. And I'm gonna ink these with pumice stone because I did use a gray background. And we're not gonna, you know, overthink it. We're just gonna ink and stick. And you can see that they hang over a little bit. That's fine. You know, they're gonna get stuck down to the layout. And they're going to be under a page protector. So it's not the same as with a mini album where you have to worry about edges catching and things. But yeah, so this is just an idea of how you can, if you want to, use your 6x6 pads on a layout, a 12x12 layout. Yes, the kitty is very cute. Kitty is very, very, very cute. So we're all very excited about the kitty. And to have handmade decor for the coffee bar. That'll be really nice. I actually made a little bit of decor for it as well. We had to have a like a guide to how to cut. Okay, so you see how I went off the edge? So all I have to do now is I'm just going to take this second one and connect it. And then we'll cut them apart at some point. But okay. All right, so let's grab maybe Marcel does need one that only has one eye. Yeah. Maybe, well, I mean, he probably thinks cats have two eyes because, you know, he sees a bunch of cats with two eyes all day. So, it probably looks normal to him. We always say he doesn't know he has only one eye. No one told him he has only one eye because it really doesn't bother him. And I think it's because he was still pretty young when he lost his eye, so The only time he ever like seems to struggle at all is with drinking water. So he will kind of put a paw to touch the surface of the water so he knows where the water is before he drinks. But if the water is running, so we do have a water fountain that's like an actual fountain. And if the water is running, he can just drink right out of it. It's no problem. It's with if the water is still that he seems to struggle a little bit. But the other thing that was so funny is, so we went to Tampa, and both Alan and Damien sent packages to the old house. So while we were there, I thought, let's just swing by the old house and see if they have them, you know. And they did. They did. So they hadn't thrown them out, and so we were able to pick up their packages. So I was joking that they made Liz and I drive all the way to Tampa to pick up their packages. But yeah, they're all right. Maybe I'll just fill in the rest of this with this gray piece, and then we'll just cut it off. Okay. All right. So now we've got our pattern paper strip, and this is what we're going to do to decorate the bottom. So I'm just going to trim it. And it was slightly crooked, so, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to cut it to 12 inches, and then we'll trim this rest of it. All right, so there's a 12-inch strip. And then we'll cut this to 12 inches as well. And we're a little crooked down here at the bottom. All right. Okay. So now this is a 12-inch strip as well. So we're just going to finish inking this back edge where we trimmed it off. And then we got to ink this edge where we trimmed it off. All right, now we should be able to, then what we're going to do is we're going to just stick these like this. All right. So that's the start. Okay. I want it to have a white border, and I'm just trying to decide if I want it to have a solid white border or a scalloped white border. So what I'll do is, actually I think I'll do a solid white border for this and scallop on the photos. All right, so then all I have to do is now stick these down to these, okay? So this is what we cut for them to go on, so that they'll pop off the background, okay? And then there we go. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. But first we wanna address a few other things. So one of them is the hexagons. And I want to kind of map out where my pattern paper is, or my photos are going to be on this side. And I think right about here is where I want them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a line, let's just say 4 inches in on this. And then I'm just going to literally draw that line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right on the piece. And then I'll just know that the hexagons need to go up to this line and look like they go under there. And then here, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do, I'm going to draw a line 6 inches over from this one. And that way I know that I need my hexes here on this side to go at least to cover this line. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So this is, I think, 2 inches. Yeah, so I'll draw a line 2 inches up from the bottom. And we're going to go, yeah, it is a happy accident that the papers match my nails, but it's not totally a happy accident because I was holding it was either Graphic 45 or October Afternoon, and I just didn't like the way that the pad looked in my hand, and I think it was because the nails were so bright. So I didn't specifically set out to match, but I think that is kind of what we're doing, a little bit of it. Oh, except I don't need to come all the way 6 down here. This one is taller, so it's 4. I don't know why I came in 6 inches. I need to come in 4 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to label what everything is so that I don't get confused about where I'm supposed to be putting things. And by things, I mean the hexagons. Okay. All right, so, and I'll just X out these So I know I don't need hexagons there. So I need hexagons here, 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 and here. But I need to cover all these lines, okay? And then we're going to do similar mapping on the other side, and then we're going to map across. So we're going to map out the 2 inches. Okay. And the 4 inches for the striped paper. And I need to go adjust the thermostat a little bit, and then somewhere in here we're going to have a 5x7 portrait, but I'm going to just hexagon all the way across. I'm not going to worry about the portrait right now. I'll just cover the hexagons with it. It's not a big deal. All right, so stripe paper, stripe paper. All right, so when we go to put this all together, this is where the striped paper goes. And then, so we'll have hexagons peeking out at the bottom, peeking out here, peeking out up here, okay? And then the photo strip will go over the striped paper probably. So, you know, that's why we need hexagons in the 4 corners of this one, because we still have that photo strip that we're going to add. So that's kind of what we're doing. So I just need, for this next section, I just need the gray. And well, I need the hexagon paper as well. Okay, so the paper I chose for the hexagons is up here. And let me grab, here I have my hexagons. Let me grab the die cutter and some plates. And I know where all this stuff is. Okay, something fell over, so I'm going to have to think about how I store these, but for now I've got everything I need. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a 6x6 pad. So if I want to be able to get multiple hexagons out of each piece, they kind of have to be, I would say, 2 3/4 or less. So let's get a ruler and measure the hexagons. Okay, so this one is 2.5, and the next one up is just over 3. So we're going to go with the one that's that's basically 2.5. So that's this hexagon. That's a good sized hexagon. So it's not going to look it's not even going to look that small, basically. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these into 3x3 squares, and then we'll start cutting hexagons. And the idea to do layouts was from Turtle Moon in the chat. So everyone, if you're enjoying today's show, you can thank Turtle Moon. I don't know why I'm breaking my back cutting these on the big trimmer when I could just sit at my desk, cut them on the small, because I'm going to get rid of their edges anyway. Yes, today's show is brought to you by Turtle Moon and my messed up shoulder. So, all right. I think this is going to look actually really, really cool. I'm also going to cut 4 squares, 3x3 squares of the wood grain. So we can have the wood grain hexagons interspersed as well. And I think I probably need more hexagons than I think I need, so I'm cutting more paper than I really think I need. So like in my mind, I'm thinking this is overkill. I don't need this much paper, and it's probably going to be just enough. I need to throw away the pen that does this. That pen needs to just go. So this is the Gmund, G-M-U-N-D. It's a German company. Wood grain paper. And it's embossed. It's very cool. All right. Okay. So now we're going to just start cutting away. Chop, chop, chop. Chippy choppy. All right, so now we have the Sizzix. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm using the magnetic plate. And the dies will kind of tell you, you know, where they want to be. So I'm just going to let it kind of snap where it wants to snap, and then I'm going to line it up so that I can try and keep things straight. As straight as possible. All right, so that's how we're going to start. So we're going to be doing a little bit of quilting today as well. All right, let's see if I can cut 2 at once. I have the Rototrim M15, the Master Cut 2 specifically. Yeah, it looks like I can cut 2. No problem. So I have the Rototrim Master Cut 2, and then the 15 is the width of the cutting blade, and I have the 15-inch one, and I have the 15-inch one because that is the one that's big enough to cut 13 by 19 photo paper. So if you're going to be printing your own paper, or if you have a wide format printer at all, you probably, that's the one to get. Because it's not, the difference in price between the 12, which is the next one, and the 15 is really not that, it's not that much comparatively. So I do recommend the 15 over the 12. Also, the carriage on the Rototrim is very large, the blade carriage, and so I just find it's easier to line up and use as well, even if you're just cutting 12 by 12 paper. So. All right. So let's see. What else did we do? We, while we were in Florida, we did go to the movies while we were there because we had AMC gift cards that we had to use. And there's no AMC in the entire state of Georgia. So, we can't, I mean, there's literally nowhere to use them. We went and we got a ton of snacks and we paid full price for movies. We haven't done that in a while. And we saw John Wick 4, which I think was too long. Way too long. It felt like maybe they were trying to jam the plot for a few different movies into one. But yeah. But the movie everyone was there to see was The Little Mermaid. Of course. So it was us and a ton of people watching The Little Mermaid. So. And, oh, there was some other big release. Fast X, maybe, but just by the age of the people, I could tell it was The Little Mermaid that was the draw. You know what I mean? I didn't think there were a bunch of third grade girls there to see Fast X. You never know. It's true. I shouldn't be, I shouldn't discount that there might have been a busload of third grade girls there to see Fast X. So then, when we were done, we took a QR code. We got a QR code of what was left on our ticket, and then or on our gift card, and then we sent a screenshot of that to her friend that we were there to see, so she could use the rest of it. And so at least it's going to get used. And then we're gonna we're gonna sign up for Regal Cinemas. Their version of AMC A-List or Movie Pass is what we're gonna go with, I think. So, or is it maybe, yeah, Regal Crown Club or something like that, and then that's just what we're gonna do. So we're gonna sign up for that. And it's pretty much the same. It's actually a little bit better because AMC A-List is 3 movies a week and Regal Crown Club is unlimited movies. But something about you may not always be able to get like IMAX or something. I don't know. There was some possible limitation, like you probably can't see the next Marvel movie on release day or something like that in the IMAX. I don't know. I need to look at it a little more carefully, but I probably won't care. We've met several of our neighbors. We haven't met all the neighbors, but we met a bunch of the neighbors. Regal has fewer movies out there. Well, Regal has way more movies than AMC because there is no AMC. But the AMC we used to go to was 14 theaters. or yeah, it was like an AMC 14, and then the Regal here is a 21, so that's 150% larger than our old theater. So we also saw the trailer for an adaptation of a book that I've never ever heard of, called God is a Bullet. And it was such a weird thing because the way they presented it, it was like they thought people watching would have heard of it. You know, not like it was just an adaptation of a lesser known book or something. So I looked it up, and it has less than 1,000 ratings on Goodreads and like less than 100 reviews on Goodreads and Amazon. So I was right. People have not heard of it, or are not reading it, are not talking about it. But it won the British Crime Writers Association best new author, best debut, or something like that. So it's not totally unheard of. I guess it's critically acclaimed or whatever. But I was just like, what is this? I'm like, how do I know nothing about a book that somehow got enough attention to make a movie out of? Like, how? Someone explain. Explain, please. All right. So, now for the fun part. Oh, wait, I'm not done. I didn't do my wood grains. Just 2 more. Also, I'm not sure God is a bullet, but, you know, just, woo! But yeah, it looked like a crazy horror movie. And then when they said the title, I was like, what on earth? So they're like, bye. And then they said the author's name like I would know who that was, and I didn't know who that was either. Now, granted, crime is not my main genre of interest. But even so, I've heard of a lot of big crime writers. You know. Like, I know about a lot of that kind of stuff because my mom likes mysteries. That's her favorite genre. So we're always all on the lookout for an author to give her gifts from that's kind of a new up and coming she might not have heard of, you know. So I keep my ear to the crime ground. And the trailer was bananas also. Okay. Now I can put everything away and we can start piecing this all together. Well, Regal Cinemas did go, I believe, bankrupt. I didn't know if someone was going to buy them or enter into an operating agreement with them or what. But at one point, I thought that it looked like they might not make it through the pandemic. Okay, now. Boston Tehran or Boston Tehran is the author of God is a Bullet. But yeah, nobody read God is a Bullet as far as I can tell. So sorry to you, Boston. Like, I guess you won an award or whatever, but they probably made more money selling the rights to the people who are making this film than they ever did on the book. Okay. So now we're going to work on getting everybody lined up. No, they haven't been doing any traveling. I wish they would, but you know. Okay. We did feel rich with our arms full of snacks and paying full price at the movies. We did. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to stick this down 1/8 of an inch up from the bottom and 1/8 of an inch in from the side, and then we'll kind of base all the others off of this first one. And I just want to see if it's worth cutting the top off it, but I think I'm only going to get like 1/2 an inch, so I don't think it is going to be worth cutting the top off it, but so yeah. We were rich going in and poor coming out. All right. So I'm gonna make like little piles of everybody. All right. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is put this one on next. Just in case. Yeah, well, with Regal, we were going to get the, we were just going to join their Crown Club, and then I guess we'll just keep, you know, going to the movies until they close, and then we'll unjoin the Crown Club. All right, so with this one, I am gonna use just a little bit of it. Okay. And then we'll cut it off. And I can put pink in this corner here. I think this is going to look really quite cool. It's just going to take a little time. I'm just going to put the partial ones off to the side. Now here I want to cut just like an 1/8 of an inch off the edge here, just keep the edge lined up so that the edge of those two is lined up. And then I'll take just I want to like a gray pen maybe. Well, actually I'll just rub just the edge of the bit down on the side. Okay. All right, and then we just got to keep going. So all right, and I think another pink one might be the way to go. So I'm gonna take another corner of this one. Yeah, now we know a new one for, yeah, I don't know that God is a Bullet is her kind of plot. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, I may run out of ideas. Last Christmas, I got her all in translation. So it was all written in another language and then translated so that there was a smaller chance she'd heard of it. And she hadn't heard of any of them. So I lucked out. All right, and there's enough of what's left of this that I can actually put it right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So now we've used up quite a bit of, we don't have another partial one, so we need to put something solid here. Go ahead and grab this one. All right. Oh, there's, let's see. I guess the white one, the wood grain. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the top off. Maybe we can use that later. And I'm going to use the wood grain to connect the two of them, and then I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm just going to line these up and glue it over both of them, and that way my pattern will continue. All right. All right, so what I've done over here is I've cut around this piece. And what I'm going to try and do is pull up. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to just trim. And then we'll use this to fill in the gap down here at the bottom. Probably don't need to be quite as conservative with the paper as I am being, but like I said, stuff like this always ends up taking more than I think. So now I can go in and cut everybody apart. It doesn't matter that there's a hole in the paper there because obviously that's where we're putting our photo strip, and that's what enabled me to cut that off in the first place. Okay. All right, so now we have it done. So just to get an idea of what it's going to look like, because we can do that now. It's going to look like that. It's going to look like that. So actually, I think this is going to end up looking really quite cool. Really quite cool. All right. So now I'm going to just go ahead and just cut these out. All right, so when you go to peel, what I'm trying to peel is I'm trying to peel the first layer of the gray cardstock up. But, because I don't want to rip the yellow. All right, so now that we've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going we're just going to keep going across and lining people up. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this. Because we only have to go to this line. We don't have to go very far. All right, so we need just a little bit of an edge. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, too bad. Oh, I'll just go ahead and use that. Because we only need a little bit. Okay. All right, and then we just need to fill in there. I'll go ahead and use this yellow. All right. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to line this up so it looks like it's hexagons all the way underneath. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to figure out if it was hexagons all the way across, where would the next hexagon begin and end? Because if we don't do this, your eye will kind of notice, it'll seem like it's not lined up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these stunt ones in there. So that here we know where it goes, okay? And we know that it's going to go right here. So what I can do with this now is I can make a line here where I know I need to line this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this in half. Because I only need half of it. And then we'll line it up with that line and stick it down. Yeah, these are our stunt hexagons. I need more than half. Oh, well, okay. That's okay. I'll just use a different one. Looks like I need half plus 1/4 of an inch, so I'll give myself half plus a half. All right, there we go. All right. All right, so I'm gonna ink this. And glue it down. And I'm not sure if this will show, but we do need a little bit of triangle to be popping out. So I'm just going to grab this and line it up with this hexagon, and then that'll tell me where to glue it. All right, and now we no longer need the stunt hexagons, so they may retire to their trailers. And we just need to finish this page. So we have nothing left of this that's usable as far as I can tell. So we're going to have to start cutting into new hexagons now. All right. So is there one we haven't used at all? No. All right, that's fine then. We've used all of them pretty much equally. So what's disappearing underneath is pink and what's coming out is blue. Let's go ahead and use this one. All right. And so for this one, we don't need that much. So I'm just going to cut like 3/4 of it off. 3/4 of an inch, I mean. I think I only need a 1/2 inch, but better safe than sorry, you know? And then we just need something to go there. And I'll just use this. All right, so there we go. All right. Looking good. Looking good. Okay, so just to give you an idea now, all right. So we'll see you can see how that spacing looks pretty normal, I think, and it'll be more obvious once we have our photo strip on there, but all right. So I think what I'm going to do, friends, because I'm looking at the time, it's 3:30. I'm going to do this all as one long episode, okay? So it's just going to be one long video. And then I think we'll just go until it's done. That's going to take us, my guess is that's going to take us quite a bit past 4 o'clock. But then I just won't do a show tonight, so I can just kind of take some time, take some more meds and put a nice bag on my shoulder. But I'd like to get this all done in one go. And I won't be able to do that unless I go over. My guess is I'll go over probably by about an hour, just based on the progress so far. So strap in, get a snack. We're gonna be here. All right. So that's what we're gonna do. This is gonna be one long video. I'm just inking all the way across the bottom to get the edges of all of these. All right, there we go. Okay, so there we go. Now, all right, so now we need to go up, and I think the best way to go up is we'll take stunt hexagons up to here, and then we can take stunt hexagons. We can take stunt hexagons across to here, and then we can just go across. So I think that's the way to do it. So we're going to go across and then up. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do now then is I'm just going to turn this on its side just to make this a little bit easier to do the stunt hexagons. All right, stunt hexagons, you guys are needed again. All right. Okay, so let's do one. And then 2. And then 3 is the one that's going to be, you know, visible, I guess. So let's go ahead and ask. Oh, wow. That one's going to just fit perfectly. So that's handy. Okay. All right, so now we have our starter hexagon, and we can get we are going to have a little skinny bit. I'm not sure this is going to show, but just in case it does, we're going to put something there anyway. Okay. And yes, this is kind of time consuming as a layout, but I think it's going to look pretty jaw-dropping at the end. All right. All right, so this one we only need to come over about 1/4 of an inch from the halfway point when we cut. Oh. Okay. All right, I have to turn the AC on a little higher, make it cooler in here. So I'm walking away from my desk, but I'm not gonna do a recording break or anything. But okay. All right, we're on 72 now. All right, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Okay. So now we just need 2 more pieces to fill in here. So let's see. I've got pink, blue, yellow. Let's just take this blue. But yeah, so it was definitely nice to see everyone in Florida and be in Florida again. Although we already have gotten used to not having to deal with traffic. So that was unfortunate for us to have to be in traffic again. And Tampa doesn't even have like anywhere close to the traffic of like other places we've lived, but we've definitely, you know, since being in Augusta have just not had to deal with it. So we were not emotionally prepared. All right, let me get another baby wipe. Baby wipes. But my nails were a big hit at brunch, which I was happy about. And I kind of like the matte finish this is my first matte finish I've done myself with matte gel. So I think with the bright colors like this, it does kind of look cool, you know? All right. So I think now we're ready to ink this corner and then stunt across that way. All right. So we're gonna flip and get some stunt drivers. All right, what else we got? We need maybe 2 more. Now, is this one going to be visible? Yes. Okay. So this is our first one where part of it's going to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it down, add another one here. These stunt drivers are all over the pages. This is a high speed Mission Impossible style layout. All right, so I'm going to put my first one here and then I can build back and up from there. And I think I'll do these butterflies. We shared the driving, so we each did about half of each day. I did a little bit more on the way back, I would say, but it was pretty even for the most part. She did a little bit more on the way out, actually. So, because she made me leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, that's why she had to do most of that driving. She should have known better. We had good road snacks. We actually had a lot of fun. I found some good road trip music. We talked about other places we might want a road trip, and I was talking about how I've always wanted to go to, like, and I don't know if I necessarily want a road trip there, but, like, you know, the artier parts of Arizona and New Mexico, like Sedona, you know, I've always kind of wanted to go check those out. I haven't been out there as an adult. So I'm going to just take my perfect trim tool and mark where I need to cut this. Not where I need to cut this, but that would be a big, a big drive out there. But, you know, we could probably come up with, we thought about like coming up with a really cool road trip where the journey is the point, kind of, you know. So, you know, yes, ultimately the goal is to end up in Sedona, but, you know, pick 2 or 3 things you want to do in New Orleans, for example. Drive there, stay there for a couple days, you know, then pick and build rest time in as well, of course. So you don't totally wear yourself out. All right, so now we're going to glue that down right there. But yeah, I played my classic road trip song that I always play. I have 2. One is that Ed Sheeran song. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Ed Sheeran has some song, I think it might be called Castle on a Hill, or Castle on the Hill, which is about driving to the castle on the hill on country roads growing up. It's about growing up mostly. But, you know, I went to school in the country, and so I definitely, like, there's something about that song that, even though I didn't go to school in the British country, right, it's like the song is like identical to my college experience. You know, the part where they're driving at 90 on old country roads. I mean, we just sped all over these old country roads. I mean, I'm not saying this was smart, you know, but, like, I mean, we were country enough. One of the places we would go had a place where you had to stop twice. It was like a train stop, and you'd have to stop, and then there was a sign about how, you know, you had to stop and look for the train and wait for the train, and then you pulled forward to another stop where you could see the train if it was coming, could see and hear the train, but it was like kind of on you not to get squished by the train. So, all right, now we've got to fill in this little corner, and we'll use one of the white ones, I think, to give us little clean pops of white here and there. So I played that song. But, and then Carry On My Wayward Song, that Kansas song. Carry On My Wayward Son, the Kansas song, I think is a good road trip song as well. All right. All right, so that was a fun one. But yeah, we listened to a lot of good music. We thought about listening to an audiobook, but then once we put it on, we realized we'd rather just like chit chat, which is a sign that your road trip is going very well. All right. Now, let's see. We haven't used a big piece of the pink yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think this one is going to go on both pages just at least a little bit. So I think we need to get our other side. I must be dying to come to Rochester. Do you guys have old country roads and deadly train stops? Ah! Oh, you mean places to road trip. It's coming to me now. I'm never thought about driving to upstate New York. I have driven to Boston. And when I drove to Boston, my uncle gave us directions, and it was like, because he had some bridge that was like a can't miss bridge. I want to say, I know this is incorrect. Teppanyaki is what's coming to my mind. That's that Japanese grill. Tatsunzi, maybe? Tatsunzi. So he made directions that would go slightly out of the way so we could be sure to not miss this bridge, right? So my friend and I are driving on this bridge, and there's this horrible traffic jam because there's a Mack truck on fire. I mean, just blazing. The engine, the whole thing is just like blazing on fire. People are beating at it with like jackets and rugs and stuff. And all I'm thinking is, we need to get past this before it explodes. Why are people standing next to it? This is very dumb behavior. So, I should have, I need to do one more. So we did yellow, let's see. One, two, three, four, five. We've used all five. So what's the only one we haven't used? This one. So anyway, that's the story of the time that my roommate and I thought we were going to explode on a bridge in New York, trying to drive to Boston. So. Okay, so we need to reuse one of these, so I'm just going to go ahead and reuse the yellow one. And gosh, I hope we don't have to make more of these, but I think we might. Okay, all right, now we can safely cut these apart. So yeah, so we had a good time. Lots of fun chit-chatting. But yeah, very, very, very tiring. Very, very, very tiring. But yeah. And the brutality of the Florida sun caught us unawares. Yeah, you have to have a good companion for a road trip. You have to have good snacks. People who just sleep on road trips are the actual worst. Those people, they're like, they just want to nap until it's their turn to drive. No. No. All right. So here's what it looks like right side up. So you can see it coming together. Okay. So we just have, and then we're done. You do have many country roads and deadly train stops. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this one to the side because I don't need it anymore. Now we just start filling in. So I'm going to try and lay it out, I think. Remember earlier when I said I'm doing more than I think and it probably will barely be enough? I mean, look at this. I mean, this is barely enough. Yeah, wow. That's all we're going to have left. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift them, ink them, and stick them down. Okay, so Candy says that they're driving to Seattle for their cruise next month. Her husband is the worst passenger in the world, so he may be doing all the driving. We've decided we're going to listen to Stephanie Plum for the whole trip. Stephanie Plum's a good road trip book because it's fun, doesn't require intense concentration, but there's a lot to like chat about and laugh about as you're going. So that's a good choice. But yeah, it was kind of wild how much had been built up in the area where we used to live since we've been gone. I mean, they were building like, huge condos. I need to just be cutting the tops off of these so that I can use them on the bottom, and then I won't be as crunched for time. Or not for time, but you know. For space, for paper, crunched for paper. Some of us nap because we can't stand the driver. That's funny. And your personalities have to match because I want to drive. You know, I want us to move. I want us to head towards a destination, whether the destination's like a planned stop 2 hours in. What I don't like are people who need to stop just to stretch their legs. I'm like, no, you stretch your legs when we stop for gas. So, yeah, so and Mr. Lifeguard is not like that, so it's very annoying. He wants to eat actual meals in actual restaurants, and that makes me, I'm like, no, just grab a snack at the gas station, grab a snack, a water, and get a caffeinated beverage, get a water, and get a snack. And get back in the car. Go to the bathroom also. Stretch your legs, go to the bathroom. You can do all of that while the gas is pumping. I mean, one of my funniest road trip memories is the time I was on a road trip with my mom, and she wanted to stop so early in the day. I just refused, and then she just kept screaming that she'd been kidnapped. So, I was like, you can't stop me. I'm driving. You can't do anything. So, fortunately, your bladders are on the same 2-hour schedule. Well, there you go. At least you've got that. I always have a little cooler with apples. That's my favorite road trip snack because they wet your mouth. You know, they're so hydrating. So I really love apples. And Chex Mix I like to have for a salty, savory snack. And then Lifesaver gummies are my go-to fruity, juicy snack. Sometimes Twizzlers nibs I want, but those are so, like, that's rare that I want those more than I want Lifesaver gummies, but every once in a while I do. Well, Chex Mix used to make a Chex Mix called Peanut Lovers. That was my favorite Chex Mix. Now I eat Bold, since I think they discontinued Peanut Lovers, but I used to really, really love the Peanut Lovers one because it kind of combined Chex Mix and mixed nuts. Okay, so we just need to fill in this little corner here. Well, I know someone who has narcolepsy, and they say to stay awake, you just have to be like, the more chewing you're doing, that's something that they can use to help stay awake, is chewing, because I guess your body has like a kind of like anti-choking mechanism where being in the act of chewing does kind of keep you awake. At least that's what she was saying. So I think you know, you do have to chew a lot with peanut M&Ms, so he may be onto something. He may be onto something. All right. Wow, we did it. All right, so this one just needs to get trimmed up. It's like dried to my desk, so I'm gonna have to scrape it with a baby wipe wrapped around a perfect trim tool. In that sense, I guess an apple is a good one too, because you really, really have to chew an apple. It's one of the chewier fruits. Okay. So let's trim everybody. Yeah, I was right. It's 4 o'clock and we've just finished our pattern paper. I knew we'd be going over. All right. All right, so real time, start to finish layout. Here we go. All right, so now I just need to cut that 1/8 inch strip up the edge over here. And that's just because we have one on the bottom and that'll help it look, you know, more lined up. Everybody. All right, so let's try and scrape these up. All right. If you don't want to have to peel it at the end, of course, you could measure it. But I eyeballed this whole thing. I mean, if you wanted to, you could measure this whole thing and everything would be perfectly lined up and you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like this. Oh, of course, it's like the last thing that's super annoying. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is let's get everybody kind of stuck down. And then we'll work on decorating. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 pieces and line them up with each other. So I know this is controversial, but I eat the core. I eat the core. Now, I don't always eat my apple cores, but if I'm on a road trip, I do. Apples are sticky, but I carry wet wipes. I think wet wipes are something you should just always have on your road trip. All right, so we're gonna stick this, I think, 1.5 inches up from the bottom. Nope, it's gotta be 1.75 inches to cover everything. Okay. Yeah, wet wipes and hand sanitizer. All right, so here's 1.75 inches. All right. Okay, so that's that. Now we'll line them up with each other. And that way we can line up the other piece of white cardstock. Okay. All right, so now that's going straight across. It's lined up on both of them. So now we're just gonna line up the other two with each other. How pretty is this gonna be? Oh my gosh. Come on. Come on. Okay, so once we get this stuck down, I'm going to place the photo mats. All right. All right, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a 6 1/4 inch strip of the white, and we're going to stamp it. I don't know, Margaret, that's so funny that you ask. So Margaret just asked in the chat where's the best place to buy ATG. I'm on my last roll, and I went to Framing Supplies to get a new box, and they are closed. So I don't know. That's where I always got them before, but they don't sell them anymore. So I don't know what the new ATG place is that has a good deal on a at least 12. I always like to buy at least 12 at a time. Okay. I know, isn't that sad? I've been buying from them forever, so I don't know now what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna stamp this. So this is a 6 1/4 inch strip, 6 1/4 by 12. And what I'm gonna do is stamp this. Wouldn't it be pretty as a pattern paper, Gloria? I think so too. I'm going to all right, I'm going to stamp that there. And then this piece, I'm going to line up with 4 1/4, and I'm going to stamp it again. And then we're going to put pattern. Ooh, what about U-line? That's a good question. We'll take a look at the end of class. Remind me, please. But U-line shipping is very expensive. That's true. Because it's all like next day UPS. So, all right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a title piece in between the 2 4 1/4 inch mats I just made. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So in it, the way that these stamps are is the stamps are in the center of a 4 1/4 inch by 6 1/4 inch mat, 2 of them. So this whole piece is 12. So from the 12, we subtract 4 1/4 plus 4 1/4, which is 8 1/2. And that's going to give us 3 1/2. So we want a 3 1/2 inch strip of paper in the middle. Okay. 3 1/2 inch by 6 specifically. So let's go to our paper and see what ones might work for a pattern. So I'm going to put the ones that I like on the right and the ones that I'm thinking no on the left. Okay, so of these, I'm going to go with the yellow hexagons. So 3 1/2 by 6. So I'm just going to cut this down to 3 1/2. And then we're going to measure 4 1/4 up from the bottom and stick it down. And then we'll put welcome baby on the title. And we'll do it with, so that's going to just go right in the middle, just like so. Yes. All right. So let me let's do the words first. So let's get thickers, and let's do something blue or maybe silver, because I do have some silver, but I have this blue. It's not, I think, let's just go with that. Instinct. Do it. All right. Tape Jungle has 72 rolls for 178. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. So I'm going to ink this. Okay, so Candy says, I've been buying the JVC tape from Find Tape for years. Not sure what their Scotch prices are like, but they do sell Scotch. Okay. Gretchen gets hers from Tape Jungle, but it's not 3M. Cindy gets ATG from Amazon, 12 rolls for $23.98. Oh no, there's ink on my nails. No! No, don't ruin my manicure. Oh no, I think my manicure is ruined, guys. Oh well. Okay. All right, so I want to put Welcome Baby there, but I think I might want a little something underneath it. Just gonna kind of look in this paper stack and see if maybe all right, so okay. Yeah, I think that'll help a little bit. Okay. Okay, so now it's W, E, L, C, O, and I'm just setting them down. I'm not pushing them down because I know I'm going to need to move them still. Okay. Okay, so now that we've got the welcome centered, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down. I always like to add liquid glue to my thickers, especially the chipboard ones. I find the chipboard ones have the least stick-to-itiveness over time. All right, so we're going to get that welcome down. So we have a couple votes for, it looks like Tape Jungle, Fine Tape, Amazon, Walmart. Yeah, and I have the 1/2 inch ATG, so I'll have to make sure I find a place that sells the 1/2 inch. All right, so there's that welcome. And then we can center the baby under it. So it's a little bit harder because I do have the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch is more common. But yeah, I put my last roll in last week and I don't know where to get more yet. So I'll try either Tape Jungle or Fine Tape and then I'll let you guys know. All right, welcome baby. Whoops, that goes on here and here. Tape Jungle has the 1/2 inch. Okay, that's good. Three-quarters is even less common than the 1/2 inch, so that sounds like they're gonna always have a good variety at Tape Jungle. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is just stick this down. So let me get these thickers put away, and then we can get our title piece stuck down. It's going to be a long one. It is. I'm going to just put it up as one giant part. It's going to take some time. I may have to cut it actually to fit it in the archives, because the archives has a 5 gigabyte per file limitation, and really long videos can kind of overcome that. So, but I do have the whole recording. I can record something like 12 straight hours. So it is being recorded. Don't worry. And I'm going to try to put it up on YouTube all as one thing. All as just one giant chunk. But yeah, it is going to take a long time. It is. I'm probably just going to set it going and then come back, and it'll just be up by tonight's. The time that the tonight's show normally would be is when it'll be up. So for everyone who missed it to enjoy. Because yeah, I'm definitely not going to be back. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line my ruler up with the 4 1/4 inch line, and then I can stick this down even with the ruler. Yeah, it's going to be a long one. I'm actually kind of sad about it, but it is it is what it is. It is what it is. It's too late now. It's too late now. I'm committed. I'm committed. All right. So now that's centered. All right. So now all we have to do is stick this down. All right. And then stick this down. We're almost done though. We're almost done. All right, so we're going to come in, I think 1 3/4 as well. So let me get my ruler, because I'm 1 3/4 up from the bottom. So I think I'll stick with that and come in 1 3/4 from the side. Yep, that works. All right. Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, wow, it's so cute. Okay, so you'll put a 4x6 photo here and a 4x6 photo here. And then over here, I'm gonna make a mat for, should we do a 5x7 or a 6x8? What do y'all think? We're just gonna, cause that's the last, 5x7, you can still get it like most photo processors. So let's do 5x7. Let's do 5x7. Yeah, you can still get 5x7 most places. So I think that's the way to go. So I'm going to do 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. And honestly, I think we can get 2 of those. What if we do 2 5x7s? Kind of like how, you know, when we do the thing that's 6.5 by 8 7/8, only this time it would be to do 2 5x7s. Okay, so the two 5-inch photos is 10 plus 3/8. So 10 3/8 by 7 1/4. 10 3/8 by 7 1/4 is what we need. And that'll give us room to put 2 5x7 portraits. So 10 3/8 by 7 1/4. And I think it's going to fit just, oh yeah. That's going to fit just fine. Look at that. Okay, so let's stamp these 5x7. All right. So how do I, let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. So if I put it at the 3 1/4, I think I'm going to have to eyeball this. All right. So I'm just going to mark where 5 1/4 is with a ruler. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. And then I'll just stamp it right in the middle. And I'll use the new stamp set so we can even put, you know, 5x7 on there. As soon as I find the stamp. Okay, I found it. All right, so this is our stamp set and it is linked below, and we're going to use the baby onesie because we are doing a baby album. Okay. And I'm going to do photo here. That's cool, Margaret. Margaret says, if you make one of Kathryn's projects, you can enter it in your local county fair and possibly earn money. I did it and it's fun. Just make sure you read the rules. That's very fun. All right, so in our stamp set, the font, all the stamps line up, okay? They're all the same width, so you can just line them up. Did I get a big enough block? I did not. I need a slightly bigger block. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this. And stamp. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stamp it again, and I'm just going to make sure they line up with each other. All right. And then when we go to stick this down, we'll know it's for 2 5x7 photos. And I think then we'll put some photo corners and then on this. Okay. And then we'll go from there. Or, well, then we'll finish. We'll be done. So. Okay, so luckily I found everyone's favorite punch while I was cleaning. Aren't you excited? Everyone's favorite punch. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and do 4 yellow photo corners, I think. All right. And with these, I'm going to just ink just their little mouths. All right. This just turned out so great. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Okay. So I'm just gonna put a little dab of ATG in each of the 4 corners. And then we can just stick the whole thing down. Yay! Okay, fun, fun, fun. All right, here we go. So now we'll just cover the back with ATG. And stick it down. My ATG sounds kind of cranky about it. All right, so all right, here we go. Just gonna flip it over and give it a rub. If you really want to, you can tape over where you have these little hexagons peeking up so that they don't catch on other layouts, but it's not that big of a deal. See, I have some extra hanging over the edge. I'm just going to trim this with my rotary trimmer. All right. Do I have extra hanging over this side too? Yes, I do. I'm going to trim that as well. And then we'll just take a look at that last layout, or the final product. All right, so here we go. Here is our 12 by 24 layout using only 6 by 6 pads. It holds 2 4 by 6 photos and 2 5 by 7 enlargements. We did it as a welcome baby. It's beautiful, actually. You could hang this, I think, on a wall pretty easily as well. It's got only 6 by 6 pads. So this is a pad from Penny Black, 6 by 6. We've used the Spellbinders Hexagon Nestabilities and made our own pattern paper, made our own background paper for our 12 by 24 layout. So there you go. So thank you to Turtle Moon, that's 7 on Facebook, for the idea to do a 12 by 12 layout. Thanks everyone for hanging with me, even though my shoulder was being kind of a pain and we went way over. Thanks to Gretchen for our kitty cat coffee decor. We're gonna hang this on our coffee rail in the coffee corner. So once we have that all decorated, I'll put a picture online so we can see this hanging there. She even included a little wooden hanger for it, so that can go right on the rail and look cute in the office. And then, so that's a little, since we can't have kitties in the office, this is a way to have a kitty in the office, so that's very cute. And I am gonna just head to rest, so I'm gonna take some more meds and just be calm, put some ice on my shoulder and be calm for the rest of the night, so I won't be back, but at least we did quite a bit of crafting today and we got a really cool layout done, and saw a really awesome way to use a paper pad that we might not have thought of before. And I do love this hexagon thing. We may be doing that in a mini album or something like that down the road. That may make a reappearance, so we will probably see that again. So thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week, and we will be back with Hip to Be Square. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.